The man who had just been hit square in the face by a flying knee, his nose bleeding profusely as he staggered backward, was none other than our protagonist, Ming-chan. Ming-chan was a true playboy. He never turned anyone down, regardless of gender. And on top of that, he was a U-class alpha. That day, his friend, known simply as Hat Guy, called him to a club, saying he wanted to show him something interesting. Once night fell, the club transformed into an underground fighting arena. At first, Ming-chan only watched out of curiosity, but the more he watched, the more he started cheering for fighters he liked. Eventually, even that bored him. So he decided to step into the ring himself. Most of the fighters there were betas, or aggressive, lower-tier alphas. With his superior alpha status, Ming-chan was born with an overwhelming advantage. Shamelessly relying on that natural edge, he bullied his opponents mercilessly. Tonight's opponent was a short, red-haired Westerner with a small build and a pair of innocent, almost goofy eyes. Hat Guy asked with concern, "Are you nervous going up against him?" "Are you kidding me?" Ming-chan scoffed. "He's just a little guy. What do I have to be nervous about?" "You don't know Tai Shu?" Hot Guy said. "He's famous in this circle for how hard he can fight. He just disappeared for a few days because of an injury." Ming-chan still hadn't realized how serious the situation was. He raised an arm arrogantly and boasted, "Just watch. I'll finish him in seconds." Tai Shu, displaying impeccable professional courtesy, bowed to him before the match began. Ming-chan didn't respond. He merely stood there, wearing a look of blatant disdain. The moment the referee shouted, "Start!" Ming-chan clenched his fists and charged forward. In a split second, Tai Shu lowered his body, sprinted 2 steps, then launched himself into the air. His knee struck with perfect precision, slamming straight into the part of Ming-chan he was most proud of, his face. Before Ming-chan could even react, he was taken out instantly by the much smaller Tai Shu. Ming-chan was left bruised and swollen, his face a mess of cuts and blood, abandoned off to the side with no one sparing him a glance. Meanwhile, the very man who had beaten him into that state, Tai Shu, was surrounded by a crowd, everyone fussing over him, asking if he was hurt. Tai Shu suddenly stepped forward and spoke to Ming-chan. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't control my strength very well just now." Those words nearly made Ming-chan's jaw hit the floor. As a high-ranking alpha, he hadn't even managed to take a single move from an Omega. He'd been knocked unconscious on the spot, and now Tai Shu was saying he hadn't even gone all out? For the first time in his life, Ming-chan's confidence as an elite alpha was seriously shaken. When he showed up at the club again, he came with different intentions this time. He lay in wait by the staff exit. The moment Tai Shu appeared, Ming-chan walked straight up to him and struck up a conversation. "Are you hungry? Want to grab something to eat together?" Tai Shu didn't hesitate for even a second, nodded and agreed. Ming-chan had planned to take him somewhere nice, have a romantic meal, and quietly build up some goodwill. What he hadn't expected was that Tai Shu was a complete brick wall. The entire meal, Tai Shu did nothing but lower his head and eat. Once he was full, he casually pulled out his phone and started watching boxing videos. Forget building rapport, Ming-chan couldn't even find an opening to talk. Left with no choice, he squeezed himself closer to Tai Shu, stared at the video screen, and forcibly created a topic. Only then did Tai Shu finally open, launching into a non-stop stream of boxing terminology. Ming-chan, who had zero interest in boxing, could only nod awkwardly on the side. "Uh-huh, I see. So that's how it works." After eating and drinking their fill, the evening finally reached its closing act. Ming-chan gathered his courage and boldly invited Tai Shu back to his place. Tai Shu gave him a long, unreadable look, then turned him down. Over the next few days, Ming-chan failed again to get Tai Shu to come home with him. The repeated setbacks nearly crushed the confidence of a seasoned playboy. That day, as usual, Ming-chan was trying to win Tai Shu's favor when he suddenly noticed that Tai Shu's face looked redder than normal. Could it be that the Omega's heat cycle was approaching?